Ever seen from Philadelphia 76ers. You won't want to miss the complete roundup of the NFL's opening week. What's going on, homeboy Chris? Boy, you can also find me over on my YouTube channel.
Out on the field today. Had a good day yesterday and had a great team meeting. Started off with just recognizing 9/11 and these young men, and this is a whole other generation that a lot of them weren't born then. And so we spent some time talking about it and then rolling our focus on into Colorado State. So had a really good day yesterday, really good energy, one of our better Tuesdays, and anticipate this being a great day as well.
You get a sense that there's a lot of guys just wanting some revenge, maybe a little payback from the way that it ended last year?
Well, I think more so than anything that we didn't execute the way we wanted to execute last week, and the mistakes that we made. I think yes, that's lingering in the minds of a lot of our guys that were on that team last year. But we got a lot of young guys that weren't a part of that, and so I think it's more so about how we play this week and how we played last week, and just improving from week 2 to week 3.
Since Monday, have you seen a difference at all in Nick Starkel and his command and his presence on the field?
Well, I mean, when you're named the starter, and it's you have a different approach. I mean, he's had a great approach all this whole camp and into the first couple of games and his preparation. But when you're the starter, I mean, you're in there and you're actively involved, and you're part of the game plan and talking about the game plan. So yeah, I have.
Caps and Jamario, any update?
Caps worked out yesterday, and we anticipate him being limited today. We'll see. Jamario did not work out yesterday.
What's the update on Dalton Hyatt? He's been out for...
Got the flu.
Flu?
Yeah, he's been in and out. He was injured during fall camp and then came back, and then got the flu earlier in the week, last week.
With losing Dorian, has there been any thought with Nick Fullwider? I know he's played defensive end in the past. Has there been any thought about working him maybe over there?
No.
Just keeping him a D tackle?
Coach, you look at Clary's grades, and they've really improved in the blocking. How do you guys grade his snapping so far and how he's improved there?
Well, I think he's improved overall, just an all-around player. He took the experience that he got last year. He took his overall approach to how he approaches every game, his preparation. He's a much more mature player, and you can see it. He started that in January, and you can definitely tell that as he's went through camp and now into the first couple of games.
Chad, how's Trey Knox doing? Looked like yesterday he might have been a little limited. Was that shot he took late?
It was, and he worked through it on Sunday, worked through it a little bit yesterday. He's still limping around a little bit, but he'll be back and ready to go.
How much say does Nick have in some of the things that are called and the things that he's comfortable with heading into this one versus maybe past couple of weeks?
Well, we always talk to all our quarterbacks, and with him being the starter now, we always communicating with our starter and ask him what he liked, what he saw. But as far as the install of the game plan and what we put in, it's what he's comfortable with. It's not necessarily what we're comfortable with or what I'm comfortable with. It's what he can do and execute, and so he's been very active and very, very much a part of it.
Nick said yesterday something like he likes being hit because that means he's carrying out his fakes well. Like I think with the first or second snap, he got this pretty good shot. How do you feel about him getting hit?
Well, I don't really like him getting hit, but I do think that it's part of his job to carry those fakes out and try to pull someone with him.
Do you like the fact that he seems to have a that's all.
Yeah, that was all me.
Yeah.
So far.
Man, Colorado State, that was a tough loss last year. Kind of got you guys going in a bad direction. What do you remember about that game, and is there extra motivation?
I mean, just giving up a big lead that we had, especially on the road. I mean, I did kind of kill the momentum in the beginning of the season, but you know, we kind of lost. We lost last week, so it's kind of the same situation. So it's kind of motivation right now. I feel like it's the perfect timing right now to use it as motivation.
Yeah, and Coach Moore said after the game, he talked to you guys a lot about how you respond. You know, kind of you get knocked down, how do you get back up?
Just don't let the same game beat you twice. So just don't let this Ole Miss game, basically like Colorado State, determine our season. We put that Ole Miss game behind us, and we moving forward to Colorado State.
How important is the game for you, Skip?
This game right here
Yeah.
is very important. I'm treated like the same game. Just got to be me. Make sure you know I'm in my right place at the right time, putting the defense in the right spots.
What did you think of Gabe's play there? I think he had 7 tackles.
I think that the defense as a unit stepped up huge for us. I wasn't really concerned about them going into the game, but I think you know majority of those guys, especially the younger guys, the freshmen, played excellent game, especially for them being their first SEC opening game.
Yeah, you know, when the season started, you had 3 senior ends. Right now, you only have 1, and you're not going to have more than 2 all year when Bell comes back. What do you think about it's Gabe and a bunch of freshmen? You know?
I mean, we just keeping those younger guys motivated. We know they probably frustrated right now, but you know, we just staying hard on those guys these 2 days of practice. You know, so when we get to the back end of the week, you know, they'll be more calm and relaxed and feeling good in preparation.
What kind of sense do you get? I mean, I know you're not in the DN room, but what kind of sense do you get for Gabe leading that group with those guys being so young?
Gabe always been the vocal leader, so you know, we don't really have a problem with him, you know, leading those younger guys. You know, those guys came in anyways ready to learn, so they kind of looked up to Gabe from the jump. So you know, we're not really concerned about those guys.
So you've seen out of Colorado State running game?
Number 5 back from last year, I think Kingsley is his last name or whatever. A pretty decent running back, pretty big, decent speed. And they got majority of the bigger guys, but you know they're going to be more physical this year. They look better on film, more athletic. So you know we know they will come with their best game. We just got to come with ours.
Yeah, they lost to Colorado. They scored 31 points on a Big 12 team. What do you think about?
Everyone in the QB room really just prepares as if they're a starter. Obviously, you know, this person running with the ones, and that's probably the guy that's going to start, but it's kind of in the same preparation for me, really.
Well, I guess you got experience.
What have you seen in their defense, Colorado?
You know, they're pretty solid. They returned 6 starters this year, and, you know, they're better than they were last year, and they can definitely play some ball. And so, you know, we're going to bring our best, and it's going to be good for us. We're going to be good.
What do you know about how this game turned out for Arkansas last year?
I know that it was one that they shouldn't have really let slip away, you know, in the eyes of all the players. That's just what I've been hearing, and, you know, this is important for us to really settle things this game.
I mean, I know you didn't play with them, but is there a revenge factor with this team?
We really just take it one game at a time, and so, you know, none of them, I guess, mean more in terms of like revenge, stuff like that. But you know, we're going to give it to them.
What have you seen out of their defense?
You know, they run a lot of one high man coverage. If they want to do that, we got the athletes go make some plays, and so we'll make that happen.
What do you think things opened up when you got in there? It looked like maybe they were stopping loading the box on you guys, and I don't know, it seemed like you trust your arm.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's what I said. I just said, hey, coach, I want to get the ball in my hands pretty quickly, and you know, I want to get some passes in there, get the guys the ball, and let them do something with it. And we did that, and it opened up the box. King got a couple good runs in there, and that's just kind of what this offense can do, really, when it starts rolling.
How important is it for you guys to get off to a better start than what you've been?
Better start in the first half. Like,
scoring the ball early.
Yeah, we want to go score the first play of the game. We want to score. I mean, that's always important. So it's the same importance as last week, really.
A couple of throws you wish you had back in the last game, I would assume.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah,
definitely.
What happened on the trick play?
Of course.
I
mean, I take full responsibility for that. You know, I didn't know the play that well, and I called the protection wrong. Dev Wall started to go the right way, and I sent him the wrong way, and he listens to the quarterback. He did a great job at that, even though he knew that I was wrong. I wish he would have told me I was wrong, but everything's on me. I mean, that's on me right there. And I throw it to the wrong guy, and it was a forwards pass, so I'm glad I didn't throw it.
Welcome in. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio as we let you hear multiple audio from Coach Chad Morris, senior linebacker Dijon Harris, and new junior starting quarterback Nick Starkel for those that just didn't get a chance to hear. But we're going to step away real quick because we got a big show coming up. Next up, following who knows what interview we'll play. We'll play some excerpts from yesterday's media availability this week with the players. But following that, we'll have David Waters. We got another game of the week as the Florida Gators take on the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington this weekend. We'll talk with David Waters of Gators Breakdown, and then we got a special interview. The Razorback Roundup started this past Monday, and we caught up with Jackson Robinson, 2021 combo forward. We'll hear what he has to say about Arkansas and multiple other schools, and then we'll follow that up with the second half of the second game of the week. Kevin McGuffey of Big Blue Nation. He'll give us his Wildcat talk, but we'll take a quick break, and then next up, David Waters. Let's get this thing rolling. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely. And, you know, being able to rep those every day rather than watch someone rep it is going to be good for me.
How much different is this week for you just as the starter when you go through everything?
I've really just been preparing the same. I had a little bit more say in the game plan, which was really big for me because it's everything that I 100% know, and I know these receivers know 100% as well. And so if you know something 100%, you need to be playing really fast rather than second-guessing yourself. Do I do this? Do I do that? And that's really what we're looking for this week is just be playing fast.
What's it going to take to get the running game to capabilities?
I think we can definitely get up there. I mean, we had, 200 the first game? And then how many this past game? I don't know. But our run game, I mean, we're going to definitely run the football. I mean, we're an SEC team, and we need to play like that in terms of running the football.
Let me ask you about that play again.
Welcome back. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day here on KDSJ 479. And real quick, want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay and Associates, Locomotion, Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and KDK's Chicken. You know, we featured one game of the week in the SEC yesterday, but, you know, in the SEC, there's always going to be more than one. And our second SEC game of the week was to be taking place in Lexington, Kentucky, where the Florida Gators will be traveling to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. It's time to get the best of both worlds. Let's take a trip down to the swamp and catch up with a good buddy of ours and Gators Breakdowns on David Waters. David, welcome to OTH, my man.
Thanks for having me again, Pat.
Let's get into it, David. Big game this week. The SEC opener, I believe, for both teams. Talk about the Florida side of things. I know Felipe Frank's a guy that we all saw at SEC Media Day, came in with high expectations. Talk about his play and what does Mr. Franks have to do on Saturday in Lexington offensively?
I think this game's a lot on Felipe Franks. Florida has not really been able to run the ball in the first two games the way they've wanted to, and I think to kind of spread this Kentucky defense out and you know, spread it vertically as well. I think the game early on is going to be in Felipe Frank's hands. I think he's going to have to make some plays early on. And, you know, I think this is a statement game for Felipe Franks, and maybe the Miami game was too. And he played well, except for those interceptions, and those interceptions count. You can't have that last one where inexcusable interception there. But with the way the run game has been struggling a little bit, to my surprise, more so than I thought it would.
Right.
I think this game's really going to be on Felipe Franks. So he's going to have to play smart. That's the first thing he's going to have to do. He's coming off of a game where he hit 25 of 27 passes, and that's hard to do even if you're playing against the air.
Exactly.
So it doesn't really matter who you're playing. But the competition does ramp up. Kentucky brings an athletic front. They're going to pressure him, and I really think for Florida to maybe even win this game comfortably, Felipe Franks is going to have to get off to a pretty good start.
You talk about the offensive line. It was a big question last year, a big concern heading into the 19 football season. And, it goes back, I agree with you, David. When you looked at that Miami game, it just seemed like that front could never get a good pocket for Franks to be comfortable in. Talk about that and how can they get this running game going? I mean, what do you think the main issue is?
It was the worry coming into the season, Pat. It's just a lot of inexperience right now. They've actually done an okay job pass blocking more so than run blocking. That's kind of been the surprise. You think run blocking is kind of the easier of the two, but they've given Felipe Franks enough time, and he hasn't been under pressure too much. I think he's only been sacked. Have to look at it, but I think only twice so far in the first two games. So they've given him time, and it's just to my surprise. I really am surprised they're not further along in the run blocking schemes and zone blocking schemes for the run game. So I think Dan Mullen's play calling comes into play here too. I think he can help out this offense and Felipe Franks, and that's why you've seen a lot of swing passes, some screen passes to. While the run game hasn't been going on, you're still seeing some extensions of the run play with the screens and the swings, still getting LaMichael Piron involved, the running back there in the passing game. So I think as we go along this season, I think much like last year, it will get better. It needs to gel maybe a little faster than it did last year. And this Kentucky defense will bring a test. So I think it's a good test. I don't necessarily think they're as bad as what they showed against Miami, but last week they did run for over 200 yards, but that was an overmatched opponent. But against Miami, they had some chances. Malik Davis fumbles a pitch there. I think would have went for probably a 30, 40-yard touchdown there. So there's been the little things, and it's the little things that have been adding up on this offensive line, while they just haven't really got it together yet.
The one thing that I do know is a consistent, that's the Florida defense. I mean, this is the side of the ball that we all felt would be a big-time strength, not only for Florida, but one of the top, one of the better defenses in the SEC. When you look at Florida defensively versus Terry Wilson at the quarterback for Kentucky, what are some of the concerns that defensive staff and Coach Mullen they're going in having to feel like they have to contain versus Kentucky's offense?
Well, for right now, you're going against a new quarterback in Sawyer Smith with Terry Wilson going down there. But what Florida's got to deal with right now is C.J. Henderson not playing. The All-SEC cornerback got injured versus UT Martin. He's doubtful. I really very seriously doubt he plays versus Kentucky there. So Florida's going to be lining up more than likely a true freshman on the other side of Marco Wilson, whether it be Kyer Elam, whether it be Jadon Hill or Chester Kimbrough. All three made plays last week against UT Martin, but this is an SEC game. This is an SEC game on the road. This is the team that beat you last year, and Kentucky brings enough experience at the wide receiver position with Wagner and Bowden that it's going to be a good matchup for this Florida secondary. So I think that's what they're going to be. That's going to be the matchup to look out for when the Florida defense is on the field. I mean, they lead the nation right now with 15 sacks. I mean, that's 15 sacks in 2 games. That's kind of ridiculous. They had 10 versus Miami. So, but this Kentucky offensive line will be the best test for this Florida defensive line so far in this young season as well. So, when you're watching the game, it's going to be kind of keeping an eye on whatever true freshmen's out there on the field a lot. kind of match up with one of those Kentucky receivers.
We got a couple minutes left, and I want everyone to know that we're talking with David Waters of the Gators Breakdown. Covers all Florida Gators football for us here on OTH. Real quick, David, give me your offensive player and your defensive player, and who wins this football game on Saturday in the Bluegrass State, and why?
For offense. I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts, the tight end. He needs to improve his blocking a little bit. That's another reason why this Florida run game hasn't necessarily gotten going so far. The tight end blocking hasn't been there like Deontay Lewis could do last year. But Kyle Pitts is a weapon at the receiver position as well. So he's the one player. If he can get his blocking in order, that means he'll be on the field even more, and then he'll be on the field even more for some mismatches. As far as defense goes. I'll just go back to whichever true freshman cornerback lines up opposite Marco Wilson, going up against those talented Kentucky wide receivers. So Kyer Elam, Chester Kimbrough, Jadon Hill, whichever one's out there the most, that's the one to keep an eye on.
Right.
And then I'll go 31-17 Gators. I think they pull away in the fourth quarter.
Well, as always, my man, love your insight. I know you guys, go into what used to be a rivalry when you take on the Tennessee Vols. Don't know how much of a rivalry that's going to be next weekend. But as always, my man, you have a blessed rest of the week. And thanks for taking time out on the hill, David.
Thank you, Pat.
That was David Waters of Gators Breakdown, giving us the 4-1-1. And Demetrius, real quick before we get on to our featured guest of Jackson Robinson, 6'7", 2021 combo forward out of the Oklahoma area, plays for Team Griffin in the EYBL circuit. He's going to be joining us here momentarily. We had a chance to sit down with Jackson. You'll get a chance to hear what he has to say as far as recruiting in Arkansas goes. But going to this Florida game, minus Terry Wilson, starting quarterback there at Kentucky, Demetrius, how much of a chance are you giving Kentucky at home versus this Florida? Because you're a big Florida and Mullen guy.
No, I think Florida really should dominate this game. I haven't really watched Kentucky these last 2 weeks. I've been in such a turmoil with Arkansas. So I'm going to try to catch some of these other games to really kind of understand what's around the SEC right now. But just from what I know, I think Dan Mullen really should dominate this game. I don't see it being close.
I agree with you, and we're going to take a quick break. I think we caught up with senior defensive end Gabe Richardson. We caught some excerpts from Gabe, and then when we come back, like as we stated, the Razorback Roundup started for Coach Eric Musselman and staff as they hit the road this past Monday on the Roundup for top prospects in the 2021 and 22 classes. We caught up with one from the 21 class, as I've stated, our featured guest, Jackson Robinson. He'll be joining me. I had a sit down with Jackson, and we'll find out. Like I said, you'll find out a lot of who this young man is and where Arkansas sits. But we'll be right back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a moment. Let's get it.
Told him he was always going to be a freshman All-American, how his stature was going to build and continue, and we hold him to a higher standard.
What's it been like for you just kind of having to shepherd all these freshmen around that are playing with you?
Just be positive. They're not looking for anybody to be in their face and telling them what to do and how to do it. You just got to show them. You got to be positive. You got to continue to bring that energy and juice. Well, they're not going to do it as well. These guys are 19. David Porter's 20. I came in with David even as a JUCO transfer. David's pretty experienced and stuff like that. But these guys just want to show that there's positivity and there's a chance here.
You said you're second or third on the team in tackles through 2 games. How would you assess your play in 2 weeks?
I can definitely play better. I could definitely play better. Just continue to buy in with the scheme, continue to be at my best, and lead these guys, and continue to be at their best. And I have my team trusting me to do my job.
Hey, sorry if you already got asked this, but season starts, you guys got 3 senior ends. Pretty quick, you're down to 1 senior end. Kind of what's that like? I know you were a leader anyway, but with so many young guys, especially the true freshmen, I mean, what's it been like? Do you almost feel like you're kind of babysitting guys?
Not at all. Not at all. These guys are mature. They're going to continue to grow up. Most of these guys are here during the spring, so I already had experience with them, and they're going to be just fine. I told them this ain't their team next year. This their team now. I talked to them right around late second quarter, after the sack I had, and I told them about the experience that was. I told them that, I'm glad I got to share this moment with them. This is my first. Tonight could be their first. Continue to play and be hungry.
What was the feeling the first sack for you?
God is a timely God's a timely God. You know, it's never nothing that you have to pretty much wait for. It was always meant to happen at that moment. And you know, I just stayed the course and did my job. It was in the system for that to happen, so it just made the play when the time was come.
As much as you were leaving.
On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you each and every day, 1 to 2 p.m. on KDSJ 479. And our feature interview, as Coach Musselman and the Razorback staff have started their Razorback Roundup as the recruiting period has opened. One of the main 2021 Razorback Roundup prospects has joined us, Jackson Robinson. Jackson, welcome to OTH, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get off into the recruiting process. You were visited this past Monday by Arkansas top assistant Chris Crutchfield. Talk about, that visit and, where are you at in the recruiting process right now?
That visit meant a lot to me. I mean, for him to come all the way down while I'm hurt, it meant a lot because, he didn't have to come all the way down. Yeah, I'm sure he had plenty of other people to see. And as far as recruitment-wise, everything's open. I'm just looking at everybody right now, trying to figure out, all the coaching staff and how I might fit into their programs.
When you look at your schools, what other schools are showing you the most interest so early in the recruiting process, Jackson?
OU, OSU, Arkansas, of course. Let's see, Kansas. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
Now, you came down in early August to the University of Arkansas, took an unofficial visit, I believe. Your parents came down with you. Talk about that unofficial visit and what was it that you found out about Arkansas that maybe you didn't know prior to coming?
Coach Muss, I didn't know any of the staff besides Coach Crutchfield at the time. I'd heard about Coach Muss and how good a coach he was, but I never really got to meet him or anything. And when I met him and all the other coaches and they talked about their experience of, getting players to the league and developing their players, it's kind of eye-opening. And them talking about their facilities and how much they put into their team's nutrition and everything, it was just crazy.
When you talk about Arkansas's program, under Coach Musselman, Coach Musselman, when he was hired, talked about positionless basketball players. I think he named it pace with space. How do you feel with the coach that, is looking for positionless guys that are very versatile? Is that a system that you're looking to play in or just hadn't figured that out yet?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd say I'm one of those guys who can play all four spots, and that's offensively and defensively without a problem. And I think that's something that I'm very good at.
Talking with junior 2021 Razorback prospect Jackson Robinson here on the Hill. For those that have just tuned in, Jackson, you had a situation in 8th grade, or an experience, I should say. You had a 51-point outburst. Talk about that night, and how have you grown from that night to now?
That night, I hit my first couple of shots, and all I can say is everything just went in that night. Everything was going.
Now, you had a chance, Jackson, to play in the EYBL 16U division with your Team Griffin ball club, and you guys were the Peach Jam champions. Talk about that experience playing in the EYBL, and how has that helped you in your game?
The EYBL is great. It's a lot of competition, and of course, it was great winning the Peach Jam. I've never been in an atmosphere like that. I played EYBL my 15th year, but we were really bad. We won like 2 games. The transition from that to EYBL champions was crazy. It was great.
Now, Jackson, you've had a long-standing relationship with head assistant Chris Crutchfield during his time at Oklahoma, now over to Arkansas. Talk about how important that relationship will be, if any, when making your decision on what school you choose.
I mean, I won't talk too much into it, but me and Coach, yeah, we have a strong relationship, and that'll definitely go into how my recruitment goes eventually when I get there.
Talking with Jackson Robinson, 2021, high priority for Coach Musselman and staff. Being from the state of Oklahoma, I know you mentioned earlier in the interview that Oklahoma State, Oklahoma were 2 schools to offer your scholarship. Talk about the pressure, if any, that you're receiving to maybe stay in state and go to either one or the other institution.
I try to stay away from that. I'm not really worried about that, but I do get a lot of pressure to go to one of the in-state schools for sure.
Now, I know you're into basketball, NBA, collegiate. What NCAA or NBA player, Jackson, is it that you most like to watch and maybe mimic some of the things that he does and add into your game?
I don't really have anybody my game master. I try to watch as much college basketball as possible, though. I try to stay away from the NBA because it's a whole different level of basketball.
Right. What do you think? What do you say is your strength right now, and what is Jackson Robinson really looking to work on for his upcoming junior year?
I'd say my strengths would be playing off the ball and shooting, but I'm trying to work on my ball handling, coming off the screen, pick and roll. Now,
Jackson, I like to come watch basketball, and I'm going to try to make it over to Oklahoma and check you out. When I come to the gym, I'm going to buy popcorn, and I'm going to get soda pop with no ice because I can't have ice in anything I drink. I'm going to go to the top bleacher. What will I see when that ball goes up and it's time to, like we say in basketball, let's get it?
Just somebody who's going to compete and work hard, lead his team, and just try and come out with a win.
Well, I know we got just a couple more minutes, and I want to thank you for taking time out here on OTH today. But I'm going to make a statement, and you finish it off. When basketball is done, for Jackson Robinson, he'll be doing what and why?
I don't have a plan B right now.
Great answer. I'm telling you, that's one of the better answers I've heard, and it's a very honest answer. Well, Jackson, I greatly appreciate you taking time out here on OTH, and if at all possible, my man, let's start a blog. You up for that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, man, you have a great junior campaign. I look forward to covering you even through your junior year. And like I said, thanks for taking time out on the hill, my man.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Welcome back. That was 2020, 2021 combo forward Jackson Robinson, our sit down that we had earlier today. Jackson took some time out to talk with OTH about his recruitment, Demetrius. And I mean, this is a guy, that's a high priority for Coach Musselman, Eric Crutchfield, having the long-standing relationship. And during that conversation, I feel that it's good. Arkansas has a fairly good shot at this young man, and that has to be attributed to the staff there at Arkansas and just the way Coach Crutch, Coach Muss, Coach Moser, and Coach Williams are recruiting these guys to be positionless basketball players, Demetrius, going forward. That has to be real big, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that was, Coach Musselman kind of alluded to that earlier in the year when he was speaking about, having a ball club similar to the Golden State Warriors, a club that last year saw guys be able to interchange positions, guys like Draymond Green, just interchange between the 4 or 5 and getting guys that can shoot but can pass, getting centers that can step out and shoot a 3. So I think Musselman is really making a diverse program and giving guys an opportunity to really come and play fun basketball.
Well, we're going to play a little bit more of Chad's excerpt that we had with Chad during we don't have anything? Okay. Well, we're going to take a real quick break, and then it's head up to the Bluegrass State where the second SEC big game of the week is going to be taking place. Kevin McGuffey of the Big Blue Nation. He'll be up here briefly. We'll show a few highlights in our break, and then we'll come back
We'll take a 30-second, but we'll be right back. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit. Let's get it.
Hey, thank you, Pat, for having me. And of course, right on cue, I just got choked up. sorry about that. But now, thanks. It's great to talk to you guys as always. Well, as you said, the unfortunate situation. Terry Wilson tore his left patellar tendon against Eastern Michigan on Saturday, and he said he's going to be out for the year. The coaching staff they're not anticipating that much change, at least with the playbook. Sawyer Smith will be the guy moving forward. He's a graduate transfer from Troy, and kind of ironically, he was in the same situation last year where he was the backup to Caleb Barker at Troy, and then he went down with an injury and started the last 7 games. As far as Saturday, I think what you're going to see, they're just going to kind of play Kentucky football. I think they're going to try to establish the run game. Now, of course, Florida has one of the best. I think that battle between Florida's defensive line and Kentucky's offensive line is really going to be something to watch because I think the Cats have one of the best offensive lines. I think, Florida has one of the best defensive lines. But I would look for them, A.J. Rose and Cavassier Smoke, one of the guys, the best names in college football if you ever did an all-name team. He's got to be right up there. I think they're going to look to try to establish the run, and then hopefully that will open up, the deep ball. You have Lynn Bowden, and then you have, the guy that's become a cult figure here in Lexington is Ahmad Wagner. He was a former Iowa basketball player who had played basketball and football in high school, and then he decided to come to Kentucky and play football. And he's caught 1 touchdown pass so far, but he's also drawn like 5 pass interference penalties. The quarterback just throw it up and then see if he can, either catch it or draw a flag. So I think you're not going to see that. Then they may fool us all and just come out and do who knows what. And then there's also the chance you might see, Lynn Bowden line up, in the Wildcat as well. But I don't think you're going to see a whole lot difference. I don't think there's going to be that much of a drop off between Wilson and having Sawyer Smith in there. I think they're going to have to, as you said, Kentucky's strength is in that front seven. They've got 7 or 8 guys. They're going to have Phil Hoskins back this week, who had been out with a academic suspension for the first 2 games. He's going to be back on Saturday. They're going to have like 7 or 8 guys they can run out there. I think they're going to be, like I said, they're going to try to put pressure, as much pressure as they can on Frank. And then it's just going to be up to the secondary. The totally rebuilt secondary for Kentucky is they've done well. They've done pretty well those first 2 games. But of course, still with nothing against Toledo and Eastern Michigan, but you're really stepping up, in competition, going against Florida. And I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen out of Frank so far. But yeah, like I said, I think again that battle at the line of scrimmage, and then DeAndre Square, who's kind of become a breakout guy on the defense so far this year, and then you have Cash Daniel in the middle. Like I said, I think they're going to try to pressure Franks, try to stop the clog up that run at the line of scrimmage, and try to force it to beat them through the air. As far as the offensive guy, I think all eyes are going to be on Sawyer Smith, and he's probably going to be, I think, the key to the game. If he plays well, I think Kentucky's got a really good chance to win. If he struggles, then obviously I think Florida will come in here and take the W. You have last year Kentucky broke the 31 game losing streak that's been the giant albatross around the program, in the most surprising way ever, going into Gainesville and beating them. But like I said, I think Smith is a guy, I think if he has a good game, I think Kentucky can win. I think on the defense side, there's, probably 2 or 3 guys. I will throw DeAndre Square's name out there. And also, I know I'm talking about Cash Daniel. And then you can just throw the entire secondary out there as well. Like I said, they've played well these first 2 games, but like I said, it's going to be a big step up, this weekend against Florida. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Pat. As always, I love enjoy talking to you guys. It's always a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.